Hello everyone, welcome to GoTarryn TV. This is Dr. T, PhD, the prodigy of sports psychology, and I'm out here en route to interview a couple of my favorite guests. In fact, they are my two favorite guests here on GoTarryn TV. Two excellent ladies I'm going to tell you about here momentarily. But before I do, I'd like to ask everyone out there, if you please be so kind as to like this video, leave us a comment, and share it with all of your friends and family out there. As I mentioned, we're going to be bringing two wonderful women here, my favorites, and they're going to be on here in a three-way panel momentarily. First, the person that we have on the line, we've seen numerous times here before. She is the Commissioner of Newton County, and her name is Alana Sanders, and she is holding on the line for us. So when we get back, we're going to have her on. And also scheduled to be with us, we're going to hope that another favorite guest who's always here multiple times, Ms. Susan Longley, representing Finish with a Flourish. So she should be on here too, hoping to get her on here as well. We'll have her on standby, and hopefully she'll be joining us during our talk. But I'm going to start with the Commissioner first, with Alana Sanders here, catch up with her, see everything's going into this new year, as well as we'll get some insight from Susan Longley's perspective on everything going on in the new year as well. So can't wait to get these excellent women, these two amazing ladies, right back here on GoTarryn TV momentarily. So we'll have them on here in just a few moments. And remember, with GoTarryn Health and Fitness, it's your time, it's your investment, it's your life. We'll be right back. Good, thank you. And again, as we know, we're always talking about the craziness that's going on. And in your role as a commissioner, I'm sure that's something that you're dealing with a lot more frequently than me, obviously. So my first question is, how has the new year been going for you? How has 2022 been treating Commissioner Sanders so far?
You know, it's interesting that you asked that question because it doesn't seem like a new year, if you kind of get what I'm saying. It just
Uh-huh.
seemed like it just continued on from 2021 to 2022, and we're just
Yeah,
continuing on because nothing has changed or nothing
good
is
point.
different within this pandemic.
Uh-huh.
Everything's the same. The numbers increased over the holidays. I was one of the ones, even though I'm vaccinated and all that great stuff, I had to quarantine an entire holiday because
Oh,
of Omicron spiked, and I had a few of the symptoms, and thank God they weren't as bad as some of the people that landed me in the hospital. But I
oh.
just think it continued because I've avoided COVID. I ran from I ran from her for almost a year and a half. She caught me,
Wow.
and so I just think that the year, and I'm hoping at least by the end of 2022 we get this together. But it has to happen with everybody having the same thought process. And if everybody
Mm.
doesn't have the same thought process of recovery, everybody having their own conspiracy theories and not listening to the science, masking up. Now they're saying the cloth masks don't work anymore. You got to do the N90, the KN95. So, which I
Mm.
kind of see that because that cough, we're looking at that point. But if we listen to the science and maybe do what they ask, maybe we can get out of this quicker than
Mm.
normal. And it just seems like it's just continuing, but I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah, very well said. You're right, Elena. That's one of the things that we've talked about that in the past, how politically divisive it's become. Um, there's, sorry about that. I can edit that. That was
Okay.
okay. There it goes. Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. You're so right about that. And in our world, in health and fitness too, I'm sure you've seen it also. It's kind of like, what do people do? Because some people I don't know in terms of, well, they don't feel safe in the gym, or if they do go, like, why isn't everybody wearing a mask? How do you know everyone has been vaccinated? How do you know those who aren't wearing masks are vaccinated? And so right now, you're right. What you said at the very beginning, it does feel like a kind of to me, a blur that we've kind of just continued with this unknown and these problems. So what do you think as far as the new year goes? I know this is an impossible question to answer, but I guess more like, what would you hope that would happen for this year, for 2022 going forward for everybody, with everything we just talked about?
I would hope that I know a lot of people don't want to get the vaccinations.
Uh-huh.
I get a lot of the I guess standoffish personalities in regards to why they don't want to get the vaccine.
Hmm.
And I understand some points of some history of things that have happened, but we have been receiving vaccines to go to school, public school, for years. We never questioned that science. We don't know what's stopping us.
Mm.
The mocks and all this different things and all this type of stuff that's been pumped in us. So we don't know what's in those various vaccines, and we had to take them to go to school,
Yeah.
or we couldn't go to school. So I want everybody to look at it at this point, and I get that they say that it has not been tested for a long period of time, but it has saved some lives. And they're stating that a lot of people who were vaccinated caught COVID. Yeah, it didn't
Mm.
say we couldn't catch it. It just said that it helps, fight it. It helps it actually minimize the symptoms. Because lo and
Hmm.
behold, what would have happened if I did not have the vaccine? I did have some mild symptoms, but what would it have been if I did not have that? So I would say my thought process on that, or where I see us going in 2022, if we follow the science and listen to what's happening, or our officials that are governing us and put these various mandates in place, the mask mandates and so forth. And kudos to the companies who are putting their foot down and saying, hey, if you're not vaccinated, we're not paying for your hospital bill or paying for your recovery or whatever. You have to pay for that yourself in regards to testing, or you can't come back on our campus in our offices and affect everybody else because you don't want to protect yourself, and you're putting all
Hmm.
our other employees, in jeopardy. So it's really important. So I'm hoping that everybody jumps up on board to be able to stop this. I do think that just my opinion, that we
Hmm.
do need to go back in quarantine all together at once. The entire country,
Hmm.
not just Georgia is participating or this state over here. The entire country needs to a 14 day, 2 weeks. Everybody inside, just knock it out. Let's recover from this thing, and then we can
Hmm.
go back out, and hopefully it will minimize a lot of individuals that are contracting the Omicron, or I don't know, some still have the Delta or whatever, just
Hmm.
COVID period. Then we can move forward and go where we need to go.
Hmm.
It just bothers me sometimes that people are that selfish and not think about others. You're not wearing the mask to just protect you. You're wearing the mask to protect others, because you have a lot that are walking around that are asymptomatic and they have no
Hmm.
idea that they have this, and they're passing on to an elderly person whose immune system is not as strong, that could die from this. So people are not thinking in that magnitude of how it can affect someone. So hopefully in
Yeah.
2022, our government, our powers that be, will see that, hey, we do need to shut down for 14 days. And
Hmm.
we do need to close some of these ports for that 14 days. Nobody goes in, nobody goes out of the country. Everybody is quarantined, and that we can get rid of this. A lot of countries, that's what they did. That's how they got rid of it. They quarantined the entire country. So we
Hmm.
have to do that here in America. I know that finances, economics, all of that is coming into play. Businesses,
Yeah.
all those various things is coming into play and making these decisions. But lives, when do we think about the lives? They are more important.
Yeah. Yeah. That's ultimately, you're right. That's what it comes down to. And you're correct that a lot of these businesses, you could see the infighting with, well, for example, the supply chain they talk about because employees not enough, shortage and such. And again, back to the gyms, the problems I see are the infighting there because several of the gyms I go to, some of them either do require masks for everybody, like staff and members. Then other gyms that I work at, only staff required masks, but members, it's optional. Then some gyms I've seen where masks are completely optional for everybody. So it's really, I don't know. What's your take, on that? How can they resolve this? I mean, is it just a gym by gym thing, or is this something? Do you believe that should just be covered generally with just one, kind of? How would they address that? Would you say?
I noticed with the bigger franchise gyms that they are a lot lenient. I don't even say
Right.
more
Why is?
lenient.
How come? Why is that too? I
I
wonder.
think it's more about money. They want
Okay.
the bodies in the building versus losing that membership. And not
Follow the
thinking,
money, basically.
yeah, and not thinking that if we shut down, you're gonna lose money anyway because everybody's sick, and then you don't have
Right.
the
Yeah.
staff to cover these gyms because you gotten them sick because you're allowing members in without a mask, and they're
Mm. Mm.
staff. So
Mm-hmm.
they're not thinking on that level. They're thinking more so we need the money, we need the gym
Mm-hmm.
membership. We got shut down for months in 2020. We got
Uh-huh.
I completely understand. But right now, this Omicron is a lot more contagious. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
bit more, it's a lot different from 2020 because you can catch it quicker. As they stated, it's now coming through the cloth mask that these people are wearing. Everybody don't have
Right.
N95. So
Right.
it,
Right.
everybody's catching it. A lot of businesses had to shut down and shut their doors recently because all of their staff are sick and don't
Mm.
have people to service. So I don't think these gyms are looking at it from that perspective that eventually you're not going to have anybody in your facility because everybody's sick, or you have people who are working out, not cleaning off the machines because your staff is not doing it anymore. It's
Mm.
become very lenient and they're touching your equipment and various things and getting sick. That's the part that I hate about going to the gym. And I use the word loosely when I say, or lightly when I say hate, or dislike. Let me change that to dislike
Sure. Yeah.
because of they're not thinking about the safety. And it's supposed to be the health and wellness industry. We should be
Yeah.
the
Good
main
point.
ones thinking about safety. And I'm telling you, I don't think I even see any cleaners or people cleaning. I don't like to use the word janitors. It's more of a technical word that we use now. But
Mm.
you don't even see any of them in the gyms and some of the ones I go to in the bigger franchises. I barely, rarely see anybody cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
very rarely see anybody cleaning or anything. So kudos to those members who actually clean off the equipment when they leave. Thank you for that because I do that. I will get on something, I'll clean it before I get on it, and I'll clean it when I leave. So hopefully the next person doesn't have any wipes or whatever. And I bring my own wipes to the gym. I don't even touch any of the gym equipment. I bring my own.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I contribute to is making sure I clean up behind it. But I don't understand it as well. It's going to be a problem if we don't do something. It's going to be a huge problem.
Yeah, what you said definitely addresses the bigger issue that I think, like you said, a lot of these people are short-minded and short-sighted to seeing. But you're so right about that. With the cleanliness of the gym, if anything, I thought, like looking back in it, retrospect, COVID, one of the silver linings, I guess, was that some of these gyms did get better at enforcing, hey, we better make sure we, clean the equipment and do a better job. So if anything, hopefully, some of these fitness centers have become more hygienic and, have more sanitizing wipes or hand sanitizer laying around, because I'm meticulous about that myself. Like, I've always got hand sanitizer everywhere. And as far as fitness centers go, we've talked about this as well. It's definitely been an adjustment, not only to people going to the gym and working out, but also like people like you and me in terms of how do we train and instruct to our clients. And I know that one of the beautiful things that also came out of COVID was this whole video phenomenon as far as Skype and Zoom. And and you know what? Speaking of which, so Commissioner Sanders, I want to remind you, this is Susan Longley. Susan Longley, you remember Commissioner Alana Sanders. You hadn't seen each other since before COVID, but last time we did one of these three-way panel blogs. And Susan, what Commissioner was just saying, and I know it's been a while because, again, you haven't probably seen each other since pre-COVID. We were just talking about how
Yeah.
we've been distant from each other, that we haven't been able to see, everyone. And you're definitely right in alignment with a lot of what she said. So I'll kind of bullet point and give you a high-level summary real quick of what we've just been talking about. Elena brought up some really good points in terms of a lot of these gyms, and Susan, you and I see it all the time. They're very short-sighted with, well, we can't close down. We got to be ultra lenient. Don't worry about wearing your masks. But Susan, you and I at the gym, we've seen these people going around not wearing masks. We don't know if they're vaccinated. The gyms that I see you at, they're just letting things go. They don't enforce people cleaning off equipment. Kind of, what's your take, Susan, from your kind of perspective, to kind of piggyback and segue into what you've seen too?
Well, I don't usually go to other gyms. I go to the community wellness center, which is where I work and where I work out. And it seems to me that people are pretty careful there. And
Yeah.
while I'm training.
Hmm.
But I have, at one point, I did go to, well, I guess I shouldn't mention names on here, but I did go to a big box gym, and I was going to take a spin class, but literally there were no fans. The room
Oh,
was closed.
oh
It was
no.
full. Everybody was breathing really hard because they were spinning,
Oh
and
God.
there was
Yeah.
no ventilation. And I just said, this looks like a COVID incubator to me.
Super spreaders.
I did mention to the manager that you need to open the door, but I don't. I try to be careful because again you don't know, and of course our particular facility has a lot of older people.
Oh yeah, that's true too. You're right. Good point.
I tend to try to respect them and wear my mask just because I certainly don't want to. I mean, I've got all three of my vaccines, but I still don't want to take a chance on infection.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. And like we don't know who's vaccinated.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out where we are. We're in an airplane, right?
Oh, is
Oh,
that the?
you see the airplane?
Yeah, it's funny, Susan. Before we were recording, we were talking about there was another mode where it looked like we were in a movie theater setting. It looked like was that was, or some kind of
It was the
opera, or?
airplane. It was actually an airplane
Oh,
setting.
that was what we were. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay, I wasn't.
the airplane.
That is
It
pretty cool.
was
So
really
she sees
bad.
what you and I were seeing before. Okay, that's so funny. The whole technology of we were talking about this earlier with how Zoom and Skype have advanced, but that was what I was leading to just a minute ago. I was going to, and let me ask both of you, but I'll go back to you, Alana, for a second. What a great tool, like something like we're doing, to be able to do this with our clients, though, right? I mean, as far as like Get Pulsed and everything you're doing with instructing, it allows you to do this virtually pretty much anywhere in the world.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of the things. And right now, I'm still teaching with the conventions. Next month. I'll be teaching with IDEA, and actually they're going back on site. So I'll be in Virginia teaching a course with IDEA,
Wow.
and I did. November, I taught a class with them on in their virtual convention. So one of the things that I teach is about marketing and social media, how to bring your classes virtually online because we're moving to that era now. So a lot of instructors realize I have to have a incubator. I have to have an on-site and also an option to do it online because a lot of people don't want to go back to class. They're still a little bit scared, a little bit, worried about I might catch this, catch COVID-19. So how do they survive? You have to have two locations at the same time. So now a lot of instructors are bringing their cameras in. So while they're teaching those students who are in the gym or wherever they may be, they have their online component. Those who have those boutiques as well. So it's really important we have to be versatile during this time because we never know what's going to happen again. And what's also happened for those instructors who were able to transition to that online component, they're surpassing a lot of those individuals who still have the on campus instead of brick and mortar, have the brick and mortar, and they're making more money online than the brick and mortar. So it's really
Wow.
important to actually think about those different things. And now you see, I give you an example. One of the box gyms now has an online component as well because they're seeing that the money is increasing to those individuals who purchase the memberships online.
Mm.
They
Mm-hmm.
want to work out at home. They want to be safe in their environment versus going to a class. We love group fitness. We pick off everyone's energy, but I'd rather be safe at my home than worried about working out with everybody else. So it's really important. So a lot of gyms now are looking at that option because they see that's the only way they're going to stay afloat.
That's interesting. You're so right. And Susan, kind of the same thing, I guess. How has that been able to be a tool for you with what Alana was just saying for being able to work with your clients online and coaching them virtually?
I've done a little bit of that, but pretty much what I'm working on right now is I'm transitioning into doing more health coaching,
Mm-hmm.
and where I am working with people online when I do that because my specialty is people over 60, A lot of them aren't really, they don't really know how to do it. I've tried a couple of times to do a couple online sessions, and they don't want to try it. And some of them that will try it don't really seem to know how to move around and get in front of the computer like that. So it's not really a good demographic for doing that, or it hasn't been for me so far. And I shouldn't say that, because I really probably ought to look into it, because I'm sure there's some of them that would have no problem with that. So, but I think the health coaching is going to be something that's going to make it possible for me to work online.
Yeah, and I'll tell you both right now, I haven't, to be honest with you, gone that route much myself. I did when COVID first initially happened, like March 2020, just because when it first happened, as you both two ladies know, that this was so unknown. Like everybody, we were just like, well, gosh, we can't even be like, standing next to each other and such. So a lot of the clients that I was working with, we just went to kind of do like what we're doing right now online. And I guess the one thing too, Susan, that I thought was really interesting, and you told me this, you got me caught to speed on this. You could share with Alana, when you were feeling so not claustrophobic, but just boxed in that spin room, that example you gave us, you've done the opposite in the whole last year with the whole travels that you've done. Susan has taken off on a journey and embarked on the country. I mean, if you don't mind sharing, with some of the places you've been, it's just amazing on this world trip that you've been doing.
Well, so far it's been the Eastern United States. I've been up to New York, Pennsylvania, across Indiana, Michigan, down Kentucky, Arkansas, pretty much that area. But I've basically been living in national parks. So I find that I can make a reservation in a national park, and then just go stay there. And I love being outdoors. So I've been outdoors. I spent the whole outdoors. I was either kayaking or hiking or riding my bike and something. So I wasn't really worried about COVID pretty much the whole summer. And then when I did something online, I would go find a place. Usually you can find a coffee shop that has outdoor seating. You can grab their Wi-Fi and sit outside. So I was pretty much outside all summer.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. I didn't worry about it.
That was the best, I think, to take advantage of that way. And you see, here where we live in Atlanta too, just even on a beautiful day like today, for example, today's a perfect day to go outside and exercise, go to the park, go outside.
Yep.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. There's so much opportunity out there. So what I foresee, and this kind of goes with what you were saying earlier, Elaine, a few minutes ago, I honestly think that these big box commercial gyms, the one that pushed all the little small mom pops out like a few years ago and put them all out of business, they're the ones now, I think, with the big bullseye target and are like kind of sweating right now, don't you think?
They're struggling. A lot of them have closed their doors. They are struggling because people are finding other options to work out. They're finding, wow, like you said, I'm going outside. People are like, wow, I really like going outside to work out.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow,
I didn't know the sun was that bright. So they look, they're finding other options besides going into a gym. It's just a trend to say I have to, or it's a mental piece where people say I have to go to the gym in order to work out. That's what people think.
Right.
In order for me to work out, to be physically fit, I have to go to that gym, to that.
Otherwise, it doesn't count.
It doesn't count. And now they're realizing that there's other activities that they can do that consist of cardiovascular workout.
And arguably maybe better workouts too, right?
Better workout.
When you're outside,
I think so. Yeah. And I know, again, if there's a big commercial gym listening to us right now or watching us, they're probably not going to like that. But it's just the truth, though. And it's really amazing because a lot, like you said, Elena, not only have a lot of them closed down, but and again, I won't name drop any of these gyms, but I've heard a lot of money being lost from a lot of these big, huge gyms. I'm talking millions of dollars from some of the examples that I've heard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can attest to that because I now go to the gym once in a while to the group. I love group fitness, so I'll go and I'll stay in my corner in the back. But when I used to teach at these gyms, classes used to be about 40 to 50 people in one room. Now group fitness classes, you're barely getting 20 in a room. If you have 10 or 5, you're doing good. So it has, group fitness was a selling point for these gyms, especially for females. a lot of females signed up for gyms, for the group fitness, the
Yep.
Zumba, the your body works, or various classes like that, and they are dwindling. I went to a cycling class. Unless you go to a cycling class at a certain time, but I went to a cycling class. You barely are getting 5 or possibly 10 in the cycling class now at
Oh,
these big
wow.
box gyms.
Well,
When I
that,
went
yeah,
the other
that,
day, it was probably like 5 people in the whole entire class, and then I passed by one. It was 2 people in the class. Two.
Wow.
Yeah.
well, I've seen, like I said, this spin class that I saw was full, and I did go, to an LA Fitness that had a fairly large water aerobics class. And I don't worry about that too much because I figure all the air that you're breathing is saturated with chlorine. So, when you're in the water, so you're not really. I don't think the pool is really a place where COVID gets passed very much. I don't know. Y'all can disagree with me on that, but those classes were full too. So there are, but there are people that are doing, you know, that are partying and going to bars and going to gyms and
Yeah.
going, and people are just ignoring it. It's like they've just had it with COVID and they're just ignoring it now. So I can't do that. I'm too old to do that, and my clients are too old to do that. So.
Well, it's like that college football game everyone's talking about from earlier in the week. And did you see the videos and pictures? Well, there must have been, what, 50, 60, 80,000 people just
Yeah,
shoulder to shoulder, yelling,
right,
screaming,
right,
nobody wearing masks. And
nobody wearing masks, right? Yeah.
I don't understand that. That's where it's kind of a weird thing. And I just don't understand also the gyms. Like, either when COVID first happened, for example, most part, they all required masks across the board, members,
Right.
staff, doesn't matter. Now it's kind of like what we've seen earlier in the what Alana was alluding to, with becoming more lenient because we're losing too much money right now. Don't worry about the masks. Don't worry about checking to see if they've been vaccinated. So I don't know what the answer is on that with these fitness centers.
Do you remember the time that you knew every January the gym was going to be packed?
Yes,
Okay.
good
That
point. Yes,
that New
yes,
Year resolution.
that's
I'm
right.
going to
That's
work
right.
out. I did not see that this
Not
year.
this year. Nope, nope. I didn't see it either.
I did not see that this year. I was like, well, where's the people that had these resolutions? Because by March or April they're gone.
They're gone
Right.
anyway, right?
Well, I think if like you say, they've found other options because of COVID.
That's it.
They're
That's
not
it.
likely to go back.
Right. That's a big
If
part of
if
it.
they've got an option that's working for them, then they're probably not going to go back. So that's kind of a not a good sign for the big box gyms. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. But that's such a good point. I hadn't thought of that really until you just said that. But you're so right. That's maybe because that explains why it doesn't feel like it's a new year. Because you're
Yeah.
right. You get that big spike. You go into the gym. You can't have anywhere to work out because it's so packed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even Susan, you and I have seen that at the place where we're
Yeah.
at,
Right.
Family Life Centers. Like, it's always been pretty dead, but it's still as dead as it's been. I haven't seen any returning faces. You know what I mean? Like,
No, there's
I mean,
usually a
like
little
people
in
not coming in.
January,
That's what
but
I
yeah,
mean.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're not
but
there.
yeah, that's so interesting. So I wonder going forward, is it going to be like this? Nobody knows, obviously. We can't predict, but
About the apps, they're selling. Was it Noom or something?
yeah,
That picture.
Yeah.
All these
that's
people
right. I've
are
heard of that.
selling
Yeah,
into the apps to where they have a live instructor come on at a certain time and they work out at home, or they could put it on their screen or TV at
yeah.
home if they have a cycling bike at the house. Was it
A
Peloton?
Peloton, yeah. A Peloton's really exploded.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
they
Yeah.
don't
Oh
have
wow.
to go into that cycling class because it feels like they're there. I mean, they're
Right.
making the technology
Oh, I'd rather do a
make it feel
Peloton
like,
than a class any day. Yeah.
yeah, they're
Yeah,
making the
especially
Yeah.
now.
technology where you don't have to feel like you have to go to that class because you can have that same experience
Yeah.
at home. So a lot of the new devices and technology that's coming out is booming and it's killing the gyms. I
Yeah.
believe that's what's happening. Because that's all you see, even when you log on. If you right now, when we turn our phones on, we go on Facebook, we're gonna see a whole bunch of ads because we're talking about it, it's listening to us. We're gonna see news, we're gonna see
That's a good
everything
point.
fitness, you're gonna
That's
see
so
an ad,
scary.
all of that stuff is gonna come up and be like,
Yeah.
that's why these gyms are not surviving, is because they're going through social media, they're
Yeah.
showing people having results from paying the memberships with these applications. So like, why should I go to the gym when I can pay $5.99 a month versus 29, 40, $50 a month?
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
true. The three of us need to create some kind of app and work together in conjunction. and
Right.
offer that ourselves, we should be making that residual money, and we need to get on that and capitalize on it.
Definitely,
To give
definitely.
you an example from my fitness convention was the first one that went online virtual. And
Oh,
then when all
wow.
the other ones saw, okay, the clients are coming over to this new convention that just started during COVID, they're taking
Interesting.
our clients and they thought we need an online component. That's when all the other fitness conventions, your idea, your SW started doing virtual.
Huh.
They were trying not to go virtual at all, and now they're like, okay, we need virtual components because we're losing the money. If you think about
Huh.
SCW, they have 9 to 10 conventions a year, and so that killed them in 2020 and part of 2021 when they couldn't have those conventions all over the
Right.
U.S.
Mm-hmm.
In an ideal world, has people who come from all over the world, from various countries. They have 10,000 fitness instructors that go to it. You have CanFit Pro, which is the largest, that has about 10 to 15,000 fitness instructors that come there and get their certifications. So they couldn't. That's if you multiply paying $300 to $400 for that fitness convention times 10,000. That's how much money they lost.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
That's incredible. Wow, that's just so amazing. I just can't believe that. And again, it's just such a remarkable time right now. I imagine next time we do one of these, we're probably gonna even have more enlightening and aha moments we'll be discussing here. But ladies, I promised you I'd get you done at a time. This was so much fun, as it always is with both of you, and I'm so excited we were able to get all three of us on at the same time here.
Yeah,
This
I
was so much.
apologize for being late.
No,
My
Susan.
password was wrong, and I had to go through all kinds of to get
No
on.
problem. That's the thing about this online technology. It can't
Right.
be perfect, so we always
I
have
must
to,
have put in 3 different codes. Like they say, oh, now give us your code again. It's like, so go back over to my email, get my code. So I guess I'm safer, but it's annoying.
Better to be extra safe than not safe
Right.
enough. Well,
Right.
Susan, I'll throw the ball to you as we wrap up, please. What are the best ways people can learn more about Finishing with a Flourish, and how to contact you directly, please?
Okay, they can go to finishwithaflourish.com. And I've got some interviews with flourishing seniors, and I'm beginning to put up some health coach information. So look for that coming soon.
Wonderful. Well, keep up the
Thank you,
great
Tara.
work, Susan.
Thank you for inviting me. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Commissioner Alana Sanders, let's go ahead and plug your information on there as well, too, please.
Yes, they can reach me at alanasanders.com, which has all my information. We can also direct you to my fitness site, which is getpulse.com. And if you're looking for political issues or having me on to talk about anything political, you can go to commissionersanders.com. So all that information has all my social medias on every website.
Wonderful. Well, again, keep up the great work, both of you. Happy New Year to you both. And again, thank you so much for both your time. Oh, this was so much fun. And let's do this next month, please.
All
Again.
right, definitely.
Yes,
okay.
definitely.
All right.
All right, and here comes your contact information as we fade to black now.